Well, everybody. Kind of alluded to it yesterday, but I thought I would pop in and say hi one more time this week. They have done it. Brett Veatch has pulled the trigger. I'm sure you've seen it on all kinds of sources here today. I'm filming in the evening, of course, on a work day here in the middle of the week. But the Deandre Hopkins deal, pen has hit paper, and he is on his way from the southeast here to the Midwest. And so looking forward to breaking down my ideas on this trade and why I like it. And we're going to talk about what the Tennessee Titans gave up and what the Chiefs are going to be receiving in return. So first thing we got to talk about is just tip of the cap to Brett Veatch. Just like most of us, he's realized that this team needs more oomph, needs more punch. We lost all of our punch. We're winning with pedigree and culture and defense and just opportune fourth quarter play. And it's time to start dominating people again like we were supposed to do this year. This year wasn't supposed to be like last year, people. This year was supposed to be different. This was supposed to be the ode to 2019, 2020, when we were scoring 35 points a game on offense, okay, and didn't rely on +2 turnover differential and a pick six touchdown to get there. This was 5 offensive touchdowns in the first half against 49ers type of deal, okay, and that's what it's supposed to be with Brown and drafting Worthy and Rashee Rice's emergence, and we still had Kelsey. We were supposed to be lighting people up. Of course, on the first play of literally the season with the injury to Mr. Hollywood Brown on the first play of the preseason. That immediately was going against the three-peat football gods. Odds are this might not be our year. It happened on the first game of the preseason, and then our own quarterback took out our best player, best receiver after that. And so maybe you just say, it's just not in the cards. Luckily enough for the Chiefs, it happened early enough in the season where they can still do something about it. Trade deadline being pretty early, in my opinion, November 9th. And they realized they had to replace him. Pushing the chips into the middle, people. That is what this is doing. We understand the history that we are chasing, the understanding where we are in the standings, and what is possible. We are pushing our chips a little bit into the middle here and saying we're not going to go quietly into that night. We are going to be right there, people, on both the field and on paper as people strategize for the talent against the other team. So going to have about a 30-minute video today talking about the trade, what I like about it, why I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a good addition for a variety of reasons. And then, we're going to end it with a NBA tip-offs tonight for a lot of games, so we'll touch base on that. But I think it's a fabulous trade. DeAndre Hopkins is a veteran. He's going to understand the opportunity in front of him. I think a lot of older receivers on ends of bigger deals that are on bad teams. I think he was just going through the motions. Haven't seen many highlights of DeAndre Hopkins this year. Well, you haven't seen many Tennessee Titans highlights this year. I mean, they have not been a good team. Their defense is good against the run, and they're positive that way, but they're a complete disaster offensively. I've mentioned it multiple times that Will Levis is a dumpster fire and a travesty, and they just need to move on from him. And you talk about Pollard being at the end of his career, Spears, and that's about the only people I can name on that team, and obviously DeAndre. So just going through the motions, making his game day check. He is not actually playing his hardest out there. So yes, the stats are down. He has apparently like an MCL issue that might be something that's been lingering, and he's been playing through. I don't know if he's 1,000% healthy, but he's healthy enough to strap on the cleats and lace him up. So if he can stay healthy, I think this adds a massive injection into this team. He is going to take the spot of Rashee Rice, okay, in the slot. Rashee obviously was an emerging Pro Bowl player, younger, more in tune with the offense, obviously, and an emerging star, realistically. And he's obviously a better player at this point in their career than DeAndre. But he is going to play that same position, but he's going to be a little bit different than Rasheed was more of a burner. He caught that big bomb against the Bengals. Okay, he's a big yards after the catch guy, whereas DeAndre isn't that anymore. But what he is going to be a little bit maybe better at than maybe Rasheed would be like third down contested catch, gotta have it situations, jumping, and diving at the sticks. He might be a little bit just wiser and savvier in space as well. Obviously, he has better hands. Deandre Hopkins notoriously has one of the best set of hands in the league. Rice has good hands, but for sure. But he's not DeAndre Hopkins in that department. So he's gonna be a better 50-50 ball guy, kind of throw it up to him guy. And I think his skill in particular with that style will pair really well with the way Mahomes can extend the play. So Mahomes will extend the play for 5 or 6 seconds, 10 times a game, or however many times he does it, probably double the amount that everybody else does. And that'll give DeAndre Hopkins, who's 6'1", been in the league forever with great hands, giant catch radius, a full 6 seconds to grab a little bit of daylight and snag something. So I think he's going to be a little bit better in that extended play than maybe Rasheed Rice. Obviously, Rasheed Rice more explosive. Would rather have a healthy Rasheed Rice, but he's going to add that little ball control-y type of offense, which is what the Chiefs are these days. So I think he's going to fit well. Wish we had Rasheed, but if you had told me we would replace this with him and he's going to stay healthy the entire time, then 100% I would take it. So that's the first thing. He's going to fit right in with exactly what we need style-wise, and just have his own little wrinkle and sprinkle on it. Another great reason is more of a long-word thinking reason, is that his contract is very favorable. The Titans are still agreed to do this deal to still pay half of his salary. So we're only taking half of the salary cap, and it's small anyway, so it's just going to cost us a few million, I believe. That is a big deal, especially when you're in the middle of a dynasty and you want to continue. You don't want to sell the future off for now. We're not the Rams. They F them pick Rams, where we don't give crap about the other year. We just got Matt Stafford. He's 34 years old. We want to win. We want to grab one right now. That's not where this team is. This team is, we want to have the best young defense next year and the next year and the next year, right? We don't want to just win this one. Patrick wants to win another 4 to beat Brady. So keeping all that in mind, we can't sell the farm to get people. And this is a good talent, big upside, veteran guy, knows what situation. He's going to be aware of the situation, and he knows he has an opportunity to go run a ring. I mean, Mecole Hardman and Kadarius Toney were the last 2 wide receivers we traded for in the last 2 years, and they both scored touchdowns in the Super Bowl. I mean, you don't think DeAndre Hopkins knows that he used to go play with Patrick Mahomes and try to be a part of the most historic team to ever play? I mean, he's gonna show up. He's getting his money. He got the best of both worlds. At the beginning of this year, he was on the trade market. We were thinking about DeAndre Hopkins at Kansas City in the summer, right? Or before spring, well before the year started. After the Super Bowl, and Tennessee basically bought him. I'm sure they outbidded him, bidded us, and they just had more room to operate that way. They wanted to get a piece for their young quarterbacks, right? And they outbid us. They paid him, $25 million a year, or whatever it was, and we couldn't afford him. But now Tennessee's season's in the tank. They're punting on the season, and we basically get him at half price, a third of the way through the season. So I don't know if you remember us kind of being in connection with him previously. Well, now we get him at half price. It does cost us a little something, a 5th round pick. It's like 130th pick in the draft or something like that. So, we understand Pacheco was a 7th round pick, but it's not a top 3 round pick. This isn't a top 100 pick, a top 50 pick. This is 130th pick in the draft. That's down there a little ways, but it is a conditional 4th. I believe if we go to the Super Bowl, or he has a certain amount of yards, or those are the conditions on it, we would have to give up a 4th. Basically, if it works out the way the Chiefs really want it to work out, then of course we would have to give up a little bit more. So half his salary, a 5th pick, conditional 4th round pick. You got potentially, hopefully, the player that you need that can, get you back to where you want to be offensively, at least to a certain degree that's acceptable, and for the price that really would work. So this deal is he's DeAndre Hopkins is not going to be on this team next year. Okay, he's older. This is not him trying to win a Super Bowl 2 years from now with us. This is a right now deal. So this is what they kind of call a mercenary deal. It's a rental, just like Johnny Cueto for the Royals back in 2015 when we won the World Series. Picked him up in August. He played. He started 5 times for us in the regular season, and then started game 1 of the ALDS. So that's exactly what this is. It's just not playoff time yet. The difference is it's just basically a necessity for the offense, and so. He understands that these games are going to be precious. Would be a fun jersey to have. I'm kind of a fan of off jerseys that people might not have, and having a DeAndre Hopkins Kansas City Chiefs jersey, that would be a rarity. For example, I have a Darrelle Revis Kansas City Chiefs jersey that I'll wear sometime. That's a pretty cool deal. Not very many people know that he played for us. So, thinking about DeAndre Hopkins. Thinking about him, I feel like people are going to talk about his production is way down and the injuries. So let's talk about the production first. Think about the teams that he has played on. The teams that he has played on are the Cardinals and the Texans. And obviously my notes say, of course, the Titans that he's on now. So those teams aren't very good. Those quarterbacks are Kyler Murray, Levis, and Rudolph. And it was obviously the not good Deshaun Watson era. I don't believe it was whoever was after him. I'm pretty sure. So, this is such a massive upgrade, and the thought of playing with Patrick Mahomes, I think, is really got to it's really got to make the difference for him. So super excited. Let me know in the chat, if you think the trade is good. If it's not, reasons why, injury, age. I don't think the injury is going to do it and become a problem. I don't think the Chiefs, I think their front office is good enough to do the scouting correctly and know what they're getting into and making sure he has a clean enough bill of health that we don't have to worry about it. So that is something to watch. But I trust Brett Veatch. I trust Andy Reid to know that he is out there to be himself and not to just be a decoy or anything silly like that. So really think this is a great move for the Chiefs. The only other player that we were thinking, saying we as just kind of the people I commiserate with, but we're thinking is that Deontay Johnson from the Carolina Panthers. He would have been a piece maybe that you could hang on to. Don't draft a wide receiver in the draft next year. Put it all on defense again, like we've been doing. And go Worthy. Maybe keep Brown, maybe not. But then you have Deontay Johnson and Rashee Rice. That would be a really good core with Deontay Johnson, being the oldest player in his 5th season or something like that. That would be really nice, and that's a piece that you would kind of have to commit to long term. So that was kind of the other option outside of Cooper Kupp. I touched on that last video. I don't think that was ever an option. Too expensive, and his injury history is brutal, and we can't risk spending a bunch of money on somebody and then him not being there for us on the 3P. That's just too risky of a deal. Maybe at the right price, and I think I heard that they did give him a call over to the Rams, but I don't think that was ever an option due to his injury history. With that ratio with his salary. So Deontay Johnson was kind of the big one. I had mentioned Calvin Ridley from the Titans as well, but I think he's too good of a young talent for that team to let go. They're going to want to have him for the next quarterback that they get. So, D-Hop, very happy with it, and we'll see how it works out. So, gonna NBA tip off this evening. I don't know if you're gonna check this out before about 10 minutes from now, but the Bucks are tipping off against the 76ers, as I noted yesterday. Obviously that's the team that I'm gonna be following. It's a small market. It's my favorite team. They are playing the 76ers tonight, but the 76ers are actually going to be playing without Joel Embiid and without Paul George. I believe Paul George plays for them as well, and that's a big deal, obviously. And Milwaukee is only favored by like 3 or 4 points. I mean, Tyrese Maxey is good, obviously, and they have some players over there for the 76ers, but I kind of like that bet. I don't usually bet NBA, but, Giannis' first game back, giving up 3.5 points, no Embiid, no Paul George. That one, I got a couple dollars on that one tonight. So just a fun way to kind of kick off the NBA season there, and kind of a nice reprieve for the Milwaukee Bucks not having to play a full-strength 76er. So D-Hop to the Chiefs. I personally like the deal. Barring his injury health, I think he's going to fit exactly where he needs to be. And I'll kind of end the video with this. The Chiefs might not be done. They might not be done making trades. They have a couple more days and weeks, and this contract wasn't as big as maybe we think it was. And when it comes to salary cap, and they might be able to get another piece. I don't believe it'll be another wide receiver. It'll be a defensive piece. It'll be like a pass rusher or a cornerback. We lost Jalen Watson. I would personally like to see them pick up another cornerback. Yes, it was a small sample size. Yes, he just got thrown in. He hasn't played all year. But number 13, I picked up his name, but I forgot it. Starts with an A. I apologize. But he did get cooked a couple times, and these weren't Deebo Samuel and Ayuk cooking him. It was their 4th and 5th string receivers out there cooking him. And that was concerning to see. They instantly picked on him, so they knew what was going on. And, picking up Marshawn Lattimore or something like that, on a weird deal. I know he's nicked up right now in New Orleans, but it would be something nice to have. A pass rusher is always great. I mean, you can't complain about the pass rusher, but we already know our defensive line is probably the best overall unit in the league, running and pass blocking respectively. And I feel like shoring up that secondary would be a premium. We get to the passer pretty well anyway, and it would be obviously nice to shorten that time, but I feel like you watch the highlights of our secondary. We're just so sticky, and there's always a defender there, and the pass really has to be perfectly placed. And even if they are a step behind on the defensive line and give them extra time, it seems like our secondary always has a chance to make a play. And that number 13 kid was not in position. Maybe with a week of practice, obviously we're not the coaching staff there. Maybe they know that he can find it, and they have faith and confidence in him. But that's something that they might be addressing. And this contract not being that big of a hit, it could open the door for something interesting like that. So thanks for stopping in. I'm going to post this video. I'm going to go watch some NBA. And then, of course, I'll be seeing you Sunday for the recap. We might have a pregame show, pre-Sunday show. Just kind of discuss some same-day parlays and some things. Might have a guest to come in on that day. If not, we will be seeing you Sunday night during Sunday Night Football as we wrap up Week 8. And, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs playing at the Las Vegas Raiders. There'll be hopefully a Sea Red out there as well. So thanks for checking in, and we will see you here next time. Appreciate it.